Is a former senior strategy advisor at the U.S. State Department and has other roles now, which you may want to talk about when you introduce yourself. But thanks for being here.
Congressman, thank you so much. And to everybody here, thank you for taking the time from your busy schedules to come and talk about such an important subject as the ones we've been addressing today. Criminal networks are global, they're digital, they're sophisticated, and they're moving at an incredible speed. Our response has to match that velocity, technology, and ambition. I said my name is David Consoli. A lot of people know me as DJ. I've worked for the last 20 years overseas. I've had the privilege to work with the U.S. government, countering transnational organized crime and foreign terrorist groups in your countries with your operators hand in hand. The way it works is we go to a country, we live there for a few years, we set up elite task forces, and under your legislation and under your judicial system, we investigate and we go after the organized crime, and then they're prosecuted, sentenced, sometimes extradited to different countries. So in my talk today, I'm going to go through a few things, and then I'm going to give you a secret. So be ready for the secret. In the U.S., we have a saying that goes like this: it's all about the Benjamins, because a $100 bill has Benjamin Franklin on it. And when we're talking about organized crime, it's really about the money. It's about the money they get. Our colleagues who are talking about human trafficking, everything you've heard today through cryptocurrency, it's always about the money. And one of the issues with transnational organized crime and terrorist groups is corruption and the money that's involved in corruption. I'm going to tell you a quick story. One of the units that I was a member of had the privilege of doing a takedown on a president of a country in Central America. When we went to do the takedown, there was about 40 officers from that country along with some U.S. agents. And this guy had accumulated mass wealth, millions and millions of dollars. He had a beautiful yacht, a gorgeous home, and he was having this amazing wedding for his daughter. And that day was the day we decided to go in and do the takedown, because his whole crony network was there at the table, and we were able to capture them and take them all in at the same time. And this is an individual who at no point in his life had any business, worked, or had any financial source, yet through asset forfeiture, $320 million were removed from him. So that just gives you an idea of how corruption and organized crime come together. So you have a corrupt president who's made $320 million while in that country criminal gangs and narco-terrorists moved about freely. One of the other important things to remember with organized crime is that criminals, we hear about, in the United States, we used to have the Bloods and the Crips were fighting. In Central America, you have MS-13 and 18th Street fighting all the time. Yet these guys, when it comes to making money, collaborate. There's prisons in Central America where you have on the street people who would be killing each other. In the prison, they're collaborating, they're talking, because that's how business gets done. So while we're all here today, it's important to remember that collaboration is key. It's key to going after these networks. And I'll tell you a quick other story, and it has to do with human trafficking, as was brought up before. In Central America, the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, UNODC, was able to bring together all the countries of Central America and the Caribbean to collaborate on transnational organized crime related to child exploitation. And because of the collaboration, we were able to move faster than the criminal organizations and do a massive takedown of human trafficking organizations, which oftentimes are also narco trafficking organizations. So here's the secret that I was telling you about. Here we call it the secret sauce, or how you make the sausage. We need human intelligence, the work that your operators and our operators do in the field. We need regional information sharing, and this is where it's important when you're back in your countries and we here in the United States, oftentimes when I was at an embassy overseas, it's coming together and collaborating, bringing your justice sector, your investigators, your prosecutors, your judges together and creating that basis of legislation and policy so that we're able to collaborate. That's the secret sauce for countering and disrupting transnational criminal organizations. One of the other important areas to keep an eye out for is what we call mirror transactions. And so we oftentimes pick out transactions that look suspicious. But now criminal organizations have smartened up. Sure, they use cryptocurrency and stablecoin, but another way that they function is through these mirror transactions. So it's also important to create policy and legislation that allows investigators and operators to go deep inside of the private sector world to be able to distinguish when something is legitimate and when something's a mirror transaction, when something's happening which seems in a legitimate economy, but in reality is movement of illicit goods and money. So, to sum all this up, let's remember that it's important that we continuously empower, train, and give the tools to our operators. That's the human intelligence side. It's important to work with technology. And I'm going to mention a few emerging technologies that I've worked with over the years that have empowered our operators and our systems. Now we have easy biometric reading. So a company like Identi on your operator's cell phone can screen and figure out who is this person that I'm encountering. Do they belong to a criminal network? Have they committed a crime in another country? Who are they? And that's right on a cell phone, scanning a face, scanning a fingerprint. Another one is the tool created by Sapios, which now our operators can use AI, satellite imaging, drones to quickly know when they're going into an operation, what's on the other side. Another incredible technology is KIMAT, which creates a wall using 2 points, and we can look across multiple miles and see who's crossing a border, who's crossing into a compound, what do they have, what are they carrying. That same technology from KIMAT is used for when a SWAT team is going into a building. Now we can see through walls, through multiple walls, what's behind that building, what's inside, are there people, do they have guns, are there attack dogs, what am I going to encounter? Condor Industries is bringing in from Ukraine the drone system that they have created over this war, which was actually one of my last overseas posts was in Ukraine, so I saw this firsthand. They've developed amazing drone systems, and so they're bringing it here into the United States, hopefully then sharing it with our partners. And finally, we have what we call smart tech, which is the ability to scan trucks, cars, vehicles. So my point with that, and going back to the secret sauce, is that in your countries and in ours, It's important to prepare our operators, give them the tools and the technology they need, and allow for collaboration. Our great President Ronald Reagan said back in the day, tear down that wall. Well, let's tear down the wall of our countries where we hold off because we believe that our sovereignty is at stake. This isn't state secrets, this is criminal information. Take down the wall, share the information with your partner countries, build these fusion centers. That's the way to get them. Like I said before, organized crime, it's transactional, it's digital, and it's fast. Our answer has to be intelligence, technology, building elite operators and task forces, empowering them together to work as one global team. Thank you very much.